everybody, welcome back. It is another episode of Dadcast. I am one of the hosts, JP. That guy over there is another one of the hosts, Nick Martin. And the other guy over there, I'm probably pointing in the wrong direction, is Mr. Jesse Dugas. How is you guys today?
Doing good, brother. How are you?
I've been better. But that's all right.
I'm pretty sure Jesse's doing the best out of all of us right now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Jesse is currently en route to Las Vegas for Super Bowl weekend, where he gets to hang out with my heroes, all because of me. And I don't get to. And that's fine. We talked about that in the last episode. And if you watched it, it was awesome. I had a heart-to-heart. I told Jesse how proud and happy for him that I was, that he gets to experience all this. I've had a week to think about it, and I take it all back.
We all knew that you were a liar and a fat mouth, so it's okay. It's all good.
Hey, so you know those videos and phone calls that you hate every time I step foot in a casino?
Yeah.
Turn your phone off, son.
Hey, bro, if I don't get a FaceTime with Marcus Allen, like I'm going to see Jesse Dugas FaceTime. I'm going to answer it, and Marcus Allen's face is going to be there. That'll make up for everything. That'll actually give me a forewarning so I can screen record it, because that'll be a day. But let's stop talking about all that. We have guests to introduce. Please welcome to the show on Dadcast. He is, I would say, an up and coming country superstar. He's a social media guru with all kinds of fans. He is Mr. Brandon Davis. How are you, bud? Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Doing great, brother. How about y'all?
We're doing great. Well, as you can tell, I'm experiencing a lot of FOMO. So your first reaction to me is, this guy's kind of, wow, he's a little high strung and angry, but I'm not. I'm really not. I just, just today.
My condolences to your dreams being, temporarily crushed.
Temporarily, yes. Thanks. That's a good way to put it. And it's one of my best friends crushing them.
I just want to go on the record and say that you had an invite.
That's not true.
To hang out with me. You had a partial invite.
You gave me an invite to. It's like, okay, here, and how can I put this in comparisons for everyone to understand out there? It's like he invited me to the football. He invited me to the Super Bowl, but I get to stay at the hotel and watch it and not go to the game. That's kind of what it is.
Listening to the Pat McAfee show today and Sirius XM on this travel, everybody is on Radio Row, which happens to be at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center.
I know.
Where am I staying? Fully comped?
Mandalay Bay.
That is correct, sir. Where would you have been staying?
Probably
Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
With me, which means you would have had the access.
I wouldn't have credentials, man. Actually, I could have brought my own and worked my way in. But, okay, there's still time. We'll discuss that later. Brandon Davis, man, I feel like we're talking about ourselves and my problems, and that's not what we do here, usually. As a rite of passage, one of the first questions we always ask here on Dadcast of our guests, and I know the answer already, but I want to hear it from you. Are you a dad?
Oh, yeah. Trust me.
Well, talk to us, man.
We need to hear more about that.
Heck yeah.
Man, so when I met my wife, I didn't get I got to meet the person I was going to spend the rest of my life with, but I got to kind of have a jump start to the rest of my life, all in one package. I got a beautiful little princess. I got my son, and all of a sudden life went from, hey, it's just me, to, hey, it's all of us. And it was just in the blink of an eye. But I'm telling you, I can't say a whole lot of things in life are always like, hey, this was just meant to happen. There's a lot of accidents. There's a lot of how in the world did we get here? But this was one of those things that was just meant to happen. I was meant to find my kids this way. I was meant to start a family this way. And I wouldn't change it for the world, because now I am, 2 kids more on top of that. And life has been nothing but adventure, chaos, a little bit of, gray area where you're trying to figure it out. And one day when they're teenagers, you'll explain to them how it all worked out. But it's a beautiful life that I'm very thankful for. And I have learned so much from just being a dad, and now have a much more respectable, viewpoint of my parents.
Gotcha. Yeah, right. So I'm assuming, and I know in your case, you probably don't like the term, but it is technically real. You are a stepdad.
Yes.
Okay, but your dad, we know, man.
That's according to this guy's social media, there is no stepdad.
Yes, exactly. I just want to be clear for the viewers and listeners. And did you say that you got also 2 more on top of that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so you run the full gamut.
Yes. We've got it stair step down, man. I've got an 8-year-old, 7-year-old, 6-year-old, 4-year-old.
And how many boys and girls?
I have a queen that is the 8-year-old. She runs the house, and then 3 boys that serve underneath her.
Oh yeah. So I'm the opposite. My oldest son, I hate the word step as well, but I'm the only dad he's ever had, the only dad he ever will be. He's 22
dad,
now.
yes,
So
it's
I guess it's kind of late, but it's I'm 3 boys with the youngest being the daughter, and she also runs the house.
Yeah, same here.
Even though she's the
same here. My
baby
baby girl's the youngest.
Where the daughter falls in, they just run the house. It's my 1-year-old runs the house. So
it's an unwritten contract.
Does she in lack of a better way to put it, bully her younger brothers?
I won't say she bullies them.
She commands.
But she does command them.
That's so amazing, man. Isn't it the greatest, dude? Isn't it just like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, step back a few. When did you meet your wife? How many years ago?
So I met my wife in 2017. So hard to believe. I mean, we're going on, we're coming up on 8 years.
Close to 8 years. So go back 8 years ago.
I can count.
Go back to 8 years ago, if you can. And imagine your life then and fast forward to right now. Could you ever imagine it?
No.
But you can think back to that time and put yourself in the role of dad, and it's scary for a lot of us. But I mean, now here we are, and I honestly truly believe in my heart of hearts that my children saved my life. I wouldn't be here speaking to you guys doing this thing if this wasn't the role that was given to me. And I'm so thankful for that. It's the greatest, hardest, most frustrating, awesome thing in the history of everything.
Amen to that.
Nick, you good, man?
So hey,
I'm good.
All right.
I know with me, when I met my wife, my son, he was 3.5 at the time. That moment in time when I realized that it wasn't just going to be me and her, it was going to be, me, her, and him, was one particular moment where he called me dad on accident. And we're pulling out of the driveway, and he, at 3 years old, he goes, "No problem, Dad." And I slammed on the brakes, and it was, "What'd you just call me?" And, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "No, this is what I want if it's what you want, but there's no going back." And having that conversation with the 3-year-old, and him and I to this day are incredibly close. What was your story? How did that happen? When your daughter came into the picture with you, when did you realize it wasn't just going to be you and her mom?
I'm telling you what, so Malia was 2 and Brantley was 10 months. And the very first moment with my daughter, it took a little bit longer. She was really trying to figure out who I was in this picture. She was 2 years old. She was trying to understand what was going on. And my son was, I don't know, it just kind of clicked. There was a night where I had stayed over and was helping her take care of the kids, and Brantley he was having a rough night, couldn't sleep. And he woke up, and I just picked him up, brought him back into our room, and started rocking him back and forth. And the next thing you know, I'm laying down and he's passed out on top of me. And when I get up the next morning, I realized, that was probably the least I've slept in a while, but that was probably the best night that I've had. And I couldn't even tell you how long. And it was just for the fact that he, in that moment, it felt like this little person, this little, he needed me. And being needed in that moment, being loved in that moment, whether he knew what was going on or not, was just a feeling I can never even match.
You knew.
Did you have that, "Oh shit, it's time for me to grow up" thought? Because I know I did.
Believe it or not, I had a decent head on my shoulders at the time. I was already out of college. I was working a salary job, and this just kind of kicked it into gear. Hey, now we got to look at, we got to find this all place to live. We've got to kind of get things in motion, and the whole family mindset really got into play and got geared up, and it was time to look for, all the things that kind of set it as a stable, finding us a steady home, finding us, places that we're going to be where these kids were going to grow up.
Love it.
Awesome. All right. So let's fast forward a little bit to the birth of your, were you in the room? Were you there for the first?
Yeah.
Okay. Back it up. You were told that, hey, I'm pregnant. How'd that day go for you? Because it's got to be, I can't imagine, because I'm going to let you know in a secret. You and I are bred from the same cloth. I am also a stepdad who inherited a daughter, my oldest. She's 19 now. But her dad is in her life, and he's great. He's awesome. It's really cool. But that morning came to me, and hey, I'm pregnant. How was that for you?
So we had been trying for really had only been a few weeks, and I usually always came home on lunch. I was working just up the road. I came home on lunch all the time, and when I got there, she was wearing a T-shirt, and she had a little T-shirt business that she ran, but she had made a T-shirt with something on it, and just kept putting the shirt up in my face, like, "Hey, can you read this?" And I read it, and it said, "Always read the fine print." And I was like, "The fine print of what?" And I looked, I was like, "Oh, well, there's fine print below this lettering." It said, "I'm pregnant." And I just lost it, because in that moment I was like, I don't even know what to think. Like, this is incredible. This is so many emotions all hitting me at once. And I was like, now this family just got a whole lot bigger.
Oh, yeah.
In just a blink of an eye.
And how was
what a great way to find out, though.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Well, and what's funny is that was actually the first viral. She had it on camera. She hit her phone over to the side. That was the first viral video I guess we ever really had. Nobody knew who we were, but we posted it to some little mom page that she was a part of on Facebook. And this video exploded. And all of a sudden we've got this company out of the UK reaching out saying, "Hey, we would love to put pay you for your video and put it on here and here and here." So I told my son when he was finally born, I was like, "You know what? I'm proud of you. You're the only kid that I can say that before you were even born, you made me some money."
Yeah. What's wrong with you,
like,
Nick?
"Now you gotta keep
Come
it
on,
up."
man.
I know.
So
I got to figure out something.
Nick's got she just turned 1.
Yeah.
And he's like 58 years old. Can you believe that?
I definitely feel like I'm 58 years old.
Well, it's because you work out too hard every day. Maybe every other day, man. Give that body some rest.
I've been giving it a lot of rest, man. Doing the red light therapy, a lot of massaging, less working out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying different things.
Okay. Well, good for you. Good for you.
But still chasing little guys around, little babies around. That's harder than any workout.
That's all you need.
I know, dude. Sophie, and she's 20 something pounds now too. So picking her up, it's it is a legit workout.
That's funny. You know what? I thought of you yesterday. I was doing the side gig and I had 2 jugs of water, and I decided not to bring a bag into the store. I'm like, I can, whatever. So I had 2 jugs of water, no big deal, until you carry it all through the store, check out, and go all the way through the parking lot. I'm like, this is like I was reminded of when my baby was, when Avery was little. I'm like, oh, at the same time, I got flashbacks of missing her little. And then I went, man, I don't miss carrying her though. Because now this was only like 40, 50, 60 yards, maybe.
I think,
and I'm like, dude, my God. I thought of you.
I think the carrying part's okay. Though watching endless episodes of Spider-Man or the Spidey and Friends, it's not okay.
But no, you've graduated, man. This is
we did.
By the way, Nick has
Coco Melon.
3 or 4 year old Liam, so he's right in the mix with you with the youngins.
He's almost 4, yeah.
But we went with years of Coco Melon, and so you graduated to Spider-Man, dude. That's a win.
Oh, well, dude, no, you know what's really cool? Sophie, dude, every day, Spidey,
yeah.
Boy. I'm like, yes.
Just don't turn on the Coco Melon, man.
Yeah, Jason.
No, dude, the worst thing though, I was watching the TV show Las Vegas the other night, right, and trying to get Sophie to sleep, and Josh Duhamel comes on, and she's like, "Ooh, cute." I'm like, "You're freaking 1 year old, no boys." Especially, well, I mean, Josh Duhamel, he's rich, he's famous, but come on,
don't you dare say he's cute.
Yeah, not yet.
He's attractive.
So I want to give you a little warning here about the 8-year-old commander of the house, the queen. Most of the fathers we've spoken to, I can't say all of them, but I feel like it's 99%, including every one of the guys here on this screen. In about 4 years, give or take, some difficulties are going to arise. She's going to become a little independent. She's going to all of a sudden think that dad's not as important as he used to be. She's going to know everything. You are going to know nothing. But I assure you that even though this 4 to 5 year stretch of time is very, very difficult, you will get through it. And most importantly, so will she. And she's going to come back. Now, I know we're a few years away from that, man, but I want to prepare you for it. I want to plant the seed, okay? Because it sucks. It's difficult. It hurts. It's painful. It's saddening. It's all the bad things. It's emotional. And well, I hope she doesn't put you through that, but it feels like they all tend to.
I appreciate the heads up.
Right?
I'll stay on watch.
Yeah, it's difficult. Nick, is she past it yet? Has she come back?
Yes and no. It's weird because she's with her mom a lot, and her mom teaches her things that I don't agree with.
Did you see? You could literally see the wheels turning right there on how he was going to word what he was just about to say.
Like, how do you?
He was definitely.
I know they go back and watch this, and I don't want them to. I don't want to talk bad about their mom, but it's she has a different parenting style, and and Emma kind of falls along into that, living in the fantasy world of everything is a certain way, basically, and that's just not how the world works. And someday she'll get it. But for the most part, she does call once a week, and we're talking a lot more than we were a year ago.
Good.
So there's that.
Until she sees this episode.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, F you, Dad.
Fantasy this, Pops.
Yep.
All right. Hey, Brandon, are you a sports fan?
Oh, yeah.
Are you a football fan?
I am a fan of football, but I can't say I'm a devoted fan.
Okay.
Just because baseball has been life.
Okay. We're going to get there. Yeah, you just Jesse. That's his. Who's your football team? If you had to pick one, who's your NFL team?
If I had to pick one, it has to be the Titans, just because I root for the home team.
Okay. I got no problem with that. We got no arguments there, huh, Jesse?
None.
That's all right. All right, now.
Except for the fact they're stupid for getting rid of one of the best coaches in the league, but, whatever.
And me and my dad have had that conversation, so I'll agree with you there.
Yeah, and the King will probably be gone next year. That's terrible. Okay, good. So we don't have to bash you. Who you got? The Super Bowl is this Sunday. By the time this episode drops on YouTube and everywhere worldwide, we'll have a winner. Who you picking?
Man, I don't know. It's a split decision for me, and it's probably because I haven't kept up with the season as well as I should have.
Okay.
So I could go either way.
Go with anyone but the Chiefs, and we're good. Okay.
Yeah. Dude, the Niners.
And it used to be anyone but the Patriots. All right, moving on baseball. Okay, so who's your team? I'm
a Los Angeles Dodgers fan, man.
Oh, Jesse, how about them apples? Woo! He's a Padre fan.
The event. Yeah, I'm a Padre fan. Grew up in San Diego, live in Oregon now. But I'm a varsity head baseball coach at the high school in the town that we live in.
That's awesome.
My son is getting ready to start his junior year. He's already getting some Division I looks, and so we're a big baseball family. And I mean it's literally tattooed on me. So,
there's no place like home, baby.
No, it's man, I feel extremely outnumbered. So I will go ahead and put myself one step ahead and say that I am getting ready to go hang out with Greg Maddux, Goose Gossage, Riley Fingers here in about 17 hours.
Thanks for that.
Well, tell Greg that I'm still disappointed. I never figured out how he made his pitches move so much. So.
Yeah, he's incredible. So I even liked him a little bit of time he was a Padre. Yes, he is. He is the example that we give every year of, hey, you don't have to throw 100. Yep. You've got to locate and spin it a little bit.
My pitchers have always been Greg Maddux, Orel Hershiser, and
no knock there either. I love
Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, well, I mean, two phenomenal Dodgers there. I mean, I can't hate that. So
Kershaw would be in that list if he ever showed up in the playoffs. For me,
hey, you guys just re-signed the old man for another year, though.
Yeah, but he's not going to even play till like midsummer, if according to that injury. But yes, he's still a Dodger for another year, which is awesome. So your boys, even your girls for that matter, Brandon, since you're a big baseball aficionado, do you see them? Are they playing sports? Are you pushing them that direction? Are they gravitating towards it? What's the deal there?
So I'm the vice president of baseball at the local park here. So my boys are all in it. My youngest is just starting this year. My oldest has got probably the biggest fire for it. He loves it.
Nice.
And he has really picked it up well over the past couple of years. I coach his 7-8 team, and my 6-year-old plays up because he can't stand not being included. And my daughter did play, but when we started coach pitch and moved on from T-ball, I threw one pitch just a little too far inside, and when she tried to swing, it hit her hands, and that was all she wrote. Dad hit me with the ball. This is not my game. And now she is a devoted cheerleader and does that for competition. So I'm all about supporting that in that direction, so long as she has got something that is her passion and what she's driven to do. So
how did I not pick up the fact you were a baseball guy wearing the glasses on the brand?
I mean, we got the BP jacket. We got the hat. We got the glasses. It's all here.
Yeah, I mean, it's my Oakleys are sitting right here, getting ready to put them on.
There you go. No. Yeah, man, I played all the way into college. So
my son. Oh, sorry.
Pitcher and center fielder. Used to have an arm that could throw it about 95, and now I got an arm that probably couldn't touch 83. So
lots of BP.
Well, lots of I threw way too much, and nobody ever told me any better. I used to throw 7 innings on a Saturday, come back, throw 7 more on Sunday, and then long toss on Monday because I needed to play center field. So,
yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, I averaged close to 200 pitches a weekend during tournaments. So,
wow.
Guys, I'm enjoying this. So if you're not aware, Jesse, this is his 3rd episode as a host here on Dadcast. He's worked behind the scenes for many years. But to you two, I mean, it's like, boom, you got but both coaches, Nick and I could probably just sit back here and just take over for the entire rest of the show. And
we just rename it the Coaches in the Car podcast.
Coaches in the Car.
There we go.
Hey,
it's better than the Lit episode, right?
Well, no one's cussed yet.
Exactly.
Well, there may have been an S-bomb earlier. I know I said GD, but those don't count. Anyway, gosh, I had something there for a second. I lost it. It happens, Nick.
I know. Crazy.
Oh, man, what was it? This is frustrating.
You're all about. So what got you into country music? When did you start?
Man, I've loved it all my life. My dad was always big in country music and gospel music, and my mama and papa actually played gospel music for years. They were kind of like a gospel version of Johnny and June. But for me, it was a passion, but it was always more of a hobby. I did it because I knew my dad did it and loved it. I've written songs since like 2007, but I always wrote in the truck. I always played songs for myself, and the most we did was we had a little family band at a little local opera house that we started. And, it was play once a month to the same old crowd. And that was all she wrote. But I had moved on past baseball, moved on past music. I had a job. I had a family that we had just started. And I thought things were kind of where they needed to be. But music was always that, hey, what if we had tried this? What if you had actually pushed it just a little further and gotten out there? But I did not know how to do it. And in 2019, I got in a real bad car wreck, and it was a crazy life-changing moment because I almost lost my life got sent to the hospital for emergency surgery. And when I came out, I just realized how quickly everything around me could have just went up in smoke. Life as I knew it could have been gone. And I didn't want to end up leaving this world knowing that there was so many things I hadn't done yet. I knew what I had done, but the list of what I hadn't done was a lot longer. And I want my kids to have that same mindset. I want them to chase their dreams, reach for their goals. And I don't want to be the guy that's telling them to do this while not doing it himself. And music was at the top of that list. And thankfully, I've got a wife that has nothing but support and drive in her system to really push me to do it. And thankfully, we had an opportunity to really just take off.
If ever there was an answer, Nick, to that generic "what got you into music" question, no, that's not a bad thing. That is one of the more profound answers I think I've ever heard, man. That's amazing.
So obviously your social media, the viral video, that has definitely helped, right?
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you guys, but there's a special guest appearance that's about to happen, and it doesn't happen as nearly as often as I'd like it to. So, Brandon, I'd like you to meet someone. My commander, my 10-year-old baby girl, Avery.
How are you?
She just got home from school. It's an early day. You good? All right. Baby, I want all the cookies, but I can't eat the cookies. I'm on a diet. She's trying to hand me cookies.
Avery, I like cookies.
She's got green on her shirt, don't she?
Yeah. Did you see that happen?
It went straight through her.
Yeah, I know. She's wearing a tie-dye shirt today. My little hippie girl. She's at Mimi's, honey. Give me like another 30 minutes. Okay. I love you. Mwah. All right. Yeah. She's going to Mimi's house. I'm so glad Grandma lives in the neighborhood. It's so convenient, you guys.
It's so awesome.
Yeah. She's just goes to Mimi's. We're all good. Sorry, I interrupted. You were saying.
No, I mean, the crazy part is when we first started all this, like I was playing little Mexican restaurants here around the house and trying to just get any show that I could possibly snag. And social media wasn't taking off at all. Like I posted videos to Facebook, and the biggest interaction I got was my grandmother getting on her iPad and commenting saying, "Oh, it sounds so good." Yeah. And I mean, that was the extent. I'd put stuff on YouTube and, no traction there either. And then COVID struck right in the midst of all this, because we started around June of 2020 and COVID started hitting hard. And next thing you know, all these shows we were picking up now weren't happening. And my wife found TikTok right in June. She found TikTok and tried her best, I guess sometime around March that year, to get me to really try and put stuff on TikTok. I was like, I've seen ads for TikTok. I'm not a fan. It's just people doing crazy dances and telling jokes. I was like, I got dad jokes and 2 left feet. Nobody wants to see that on that app.
Right. Or do they? That's literally what they want to see.
I mean, maybe now. Mm-hmm. At this point, there's a never ending, just crazy amount of content on there.
Stream of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know what to do with it. And she finally just said, "Look, you sing, I'm going to film it. And what I do with the video past that is not your concern." I was like, okay, fine, do that. And next thing you know, she's done this a few times. She's posted videos. She comes up and says, "Hey, look what's happening." And we've got a viral video taken off of me just standing in front of my refrigerator and singing songs. And it blew my mind. Now we have a platform to jump on and really kind of take off from here.
Yeah, I remember that's how I found you. I think I started hitting you up in like 2022 or something to get on the podcast. And finally it worked out. We swapped emails or whatever, and it finally worked out.
No, you just finally wore him down is what you did.
That's right. I never stopped.
I call him tenacious for a reason. And he's one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, we get so many high-profile, awesome guests on this show. He just keeps asking and asking and asking. And eventually they're like, "Dude, no," which is very rare. Or, "Okay, man, whatever. We'll do it. Let's go." And it's funny you say that, man. Coincidentally, we got our start doing this podcast right at the beginning of COVID as well. And, it was an outlet to discuss problems, and it's just evolved into what it is today. But yeah, man, it's crazy times. That was, huh?
Yes, indeed.
Wasn't school great?
At least. If you can call it school.
Right. Sorry, Jesse, go ahead.
I was going to ask what's next.
What's next? I mean, for us, what's next is really trying to, I want to keep carrying these shows to new towns because there's so much of this country that we've gotten to see, but there's still so much that I haven't gotten to see in so many different towns that I want my music to reach. But not only that, like this has been an experience for my kids as we've carried to all these places, because 9 times out of 10, if we can take them with us, they go with us. And they have gotten to experience so many different places, people, and just things to do that even though I traveled playing baseball growing up, I never saw towns like this. I never got to travel like this. And my wife didn't get to travel at all. And I want them to be able to carry these experiences and have, you know, this family that has been really built around music over the past 4 years continue to grow in that. And it becomes something that when they have kids and they're telling these stories, you know, they're like, man, we had such an amazing time. We got to go everywhere in this bus. We got to see so many places that we'd never been before. And I want those to be cherished memories for them. And this music growing is what allows that to keep happening. So I want this music to grow. I want to connect with more people. And that means, you know, more spots that we need to play and more towns we need to hit up.
Nice. If you could play a show with any artist, living or dead, who you have not previously already played with, who is it going to be?
Merle Haggard.
Didn't even need to think about it.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer, man.
Who is it that was it who's that Merle Haggard story we had? Was it Joe? Was it Nichols when we had on?
Joe Nichols. Yes, yeah, because he was sitting on his deck and telling us a story. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had Joe Nichols on. And
okay.
And he's actually a pal. Oh, I got invited to freaking the Florida Keys that day, and I went and saw him at the freaking Florida. Oh, that was amazing. But anyway, and yeah, he shared a story about, you know, I think that question I answered, and he's like, I can't answer it because I've already done it, and it was Merle Haggard. And I was like, oh wow, that's great. I kind of want Joe. I want Brandon to open a show for Joe now. We should make this happen, Nick. That'd be a good one. Just saying.
Yeah.
One of his old guitarists, his name's Dan, and he's actually one of the main producers that I work with. And I've gotten so many awesome stories from when he used to tour with Joe.
Yeah, they're
we just need to connect him with Ben Carey, and Ben's got all the
Vegas. Have you played Vegas yet, Brandon?
I have not. I used to travel through Vegas a lot because I lived out in Lone Pine, California for a good while on the outskirts of Death Valley. And Vegas was the main airport I had to fly out of to get back home.
Lone Pine. What were you living doing? Because I know Lone Pine and I know Death Valley. In fact, my grandpa used to leave grandma for weeks upon weeks just to go camp in the middle of Death Valley and look at the stars. But yeah, so what you doing in Lone Pine?
So when I graduated college, the very first job I took was with Barnard Construction, and it was in the middle of nowhere in Lone Pine, California. Yep. Doing dust mitigation for giant old Owens Lake that did nothing but carry sandstorms through the valley.
And see, this is the reason I asked these questions. You know, that's something you probably did not know about Brandon until today. And maybe you don't ever want to know it again. Who knows? But whatever the case. Nick, have you put together a Fast Five for Mr. Davis today? All right. So if you couldn't tell already, Brandon, I used to work and still do work in radio. And this was a segment that I used to ask of all my guests that come on. And we've incorporated it here on the podcast.
Love it.
All right. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. What is your favorite family adventure you've been on?
Favorite family adventure would have to be the first trip we all took to Disney.
Nice.
Disneyland or Disney World?
Disney World.
Ooh, I've yet to be.
Next level.
Do you have any advice for stepdads?
Just really putting your whole heart into loving the family, because it's the family that is made. It's not the family that is created from the ground up. It's the family that's made. And, you know, showing them unconditional love from somebody who otherwise, you know, they might not have had that love from in the first place. That's what makes it. And no matter what it takes. I know time is always going to be in there, but no matter what it takes, never stop showing the love.
Very cool. Your favorite food to cook for your kids?
Probably eggs, just because that's the one I know every time I make it, they will eat them.
Oh my gosh. Finally, somebody that's like, my kids are exactly the same.
No one's ever answered eggs before, Nick.
I know.
This is number 132. That's the first answer of eggs.
Dude, last night though. So Liam is like a super picky eater, right? Like it's macaroni and eggs. That's it. That's all the kid eats. I got him to eat chicken strips and sweet potato fries last night.
Attaboy.
I know. I was like, hell yeah, I did it. Anyway, if you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why?
Billboard with anything on, what would it be and why? Probably a picture of me and my kids. And I say that just because I want everyone to see what I see. And what I see is life, my entire life, wrapped up into 4 tiny packages that just get bigger and bigger as they go on. And that's how life should be. Life should grow.
What are the odds of a 5th tiny package?
I would say very much in my favor of happening. We've actually been in the process of IVF.
Oh my gosh. And now it goes to Nick.
So my 2 latest babies are IVF babies, and it's crazy. So I was fixed for 15 years. Then I got remarried. My wife didn't have kids. She wanted to have kids. So I got unfixed and we did the whole IVF thing. And we have our 3-year-old and we have our 1-year-old.
That's amazing.
It's a different experience and the feelings are all different. Everything is just absolutely crazy.
I think it's the waiting game that becomes the biggest aspect of this for me too. It's because my wife has been, it's a whole different experience on just getting ready for that process with the medicines and everything. So it's been a whole roller coaster.
Are you guys doing the injections yet? Like the daily shots and all the?
Oh yeah. We already went through 2 rounds of it. So the first round didn't take, unfortunately. And we're on round 2 and got prayers up because it looks like everything's going smooth and we're just waiting to hear back on everything after the extraction. So,
wow.
Can't wait for
now we're going to have a part 2 to see how this goes and how this turns out.
There's no might about it. There is a part 2 happening when the good news hits.
Exactly.
If that's cool with you.
Okay. So we've all done really stupid things being dads. What is your funniest parenting fail?
Hey, Brandon, we can't hear you. Did you hit mute by any chance? There you go. There you go. You're good now. You're good.
There we go.
Okay. Funniest parenting fail. I would say it's probably when I said my daughter was within dress code and able to go to school. And when the teacher sent the picture to my wife, I discovered that my judgment was completely incorrect. And I plead the fifth on how we exactly got to that point. But my wife, I thought, wow, my daughter's going to get in trouble with my wife for going to school dressed like that. And instead it was, no, she didn't go to school dressed like that. You let her go to school dressed like that. I was like, well, to be fair, there was a sweater involved that covered things that I did not know before she left the house.
Yeah.
And I've learned now to check what jackets are being worn or what sweaters are being worn and why and what's underneath before we ever make it to the truck, because I don't need the teachers. Giving me the shame.
We've had that
did the teacher
before,
text your wife the picture first or you the picture first?
Oh, no, it went straight. They have a class dojo kind of thing where teachers can send parents an update at any given point of the day, and in came that picture. And yeah,
that was it. The solution is I just don't dress my kids. That's all, Mom.
I didn't even dress her. She's
right.
She knows how to pick for herself. And I was like, she even got an outfit like it all matched. This is awesome. I just didn't realize. I didn't realize the yeah, the end result wasn't as good as the initial conception.
Lesson learned, man. Easy peasy. Yeah. Nick, you got any more?
No, that's 5.
That was 5. Jesse, you got anything to add to that one?
No, I'm good.
He's so antsy. He's ready to get in that car and head to Reno and to live my dream. He's just so excited. He's
thinking that his daughter is going to be 8 one day. And
that's exactly what I'm thinking. That is the first thing I'm like, well, she's 3 now. She turns 4 in 2 months. Check sweaters and coats. That's immediately the first thing that I thought.
Yep. Yeah. Well worth it.
See, we learn something new every single episode, every single guest, valuable information. I hadn't even thought of the sweater jacket issue until Brandon Davis came on the show. And now we know, you guys. Now we know thankfully, it's very cold where we're at right now. So I'm not, there's a
I just
whole
drove
lot
through
of
the snow. It was snowing 5 miles ago that way.
Yeah.
So
you made it
through. Liam's been dressing himself every day. It's tank tops and shorts. And I'm like, bro, it's freaking like 30 degrees outside. He's like, well, Dad, that's what you wear to the gym. I'm like, you're not wrong. Okay.
You don't put a jacket on when you leave the house, Nick?
No, dude.
I know. Shorts and T-shirt. As a Southern California kid, even living here in Oregon now, I'm shorts and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm wearing a hoodie right now is it's freezing balls in my freaking studio. So yeah, and I got to sit here for an hour with no movement. So yeah. So where are you in Tennessee, Brandon Davis?
Yes, sir.
It looks like a good day there today, man. Some sunshine.
Man, it's been good. I mean, it's actually been around. It's about 68 degrees outside.
Jesse,
right,
you've done it again. God,
I'm back.
You did it again. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Brandon. Now there's an edit. What's the timestamp? 5240.
3 episodes in.
I had to plug the phone in. It was dying.
Episode, you take yourself off camera.
You ever done any video editing, Brandon Davis?
All I did is plug it in.
In your life?
My wife more so than me, but okay. I understand the struggle.
I don't know
why
just
added 20 minutes.
An hour. Dude, I whipped out. So I whipped out 13 reels for Murder Nova this morning in less than 5 minutes.
Because you have it all automated. I mean, you got to build the thing from scratch. Once the thing's scratch, then it's all gravy, baby. Then it's all good. What you just did, seriously, it's. I'll show you. And if you can show me a workaround that's easier, then
I'll show you a workaround. I work in Premiere every day.
I can't wait to see it, man. I can't wait. All right, man. We're getting close to the end of our time here. Jesse's got to go live dreams. Nick's probably got to go work out. Brandon, as soon as we're done here, what are you doing? What does the rest of your day entail?
It entails getting these kiddos to Awanas, man. They've got church tonight, and they are beyond excited because they've got all their friends are going to be there. They've got all these activities they get to do. So we as parents get a little break. They get to go have fun, and it all works out. And by the time it's done, it's bedtime. So
nice.
I mean,
now,
it's kind of an easy street.
What is Awana?
It's like a Bible school for kids.
Okay,
but it's all year round, and it stays with their school schedule.
Gotcha. It sounded to me like I don't know, a luau, to be perfectly honest. I thought they were gonna have some barbecue pig and some dancing going on, but completely not what I was thinking.
Oh, but now I'm hungry. Thanks for that.
All right,
I got one last question real quick.
Again, I got one after you.
Okay, so you have kids that are little. How do you get like your little ones, like 3 or 4 year old, to go to bed before 10 o'clock at night? The last 2 weeks have been a struggle.
Man, to be honest, ever since, so the way it's kind of worked out is she's breastfed every one of the kids. So for that first year, they're in the bed with us. That's kind of the go-to. They are used to it. At 1 year old, we wean them off that, and they get their own bed in their own room. And then it goes from being her getting up in the middle of the night to now it's my turn to get up in the middle of the night. And then it kind of stays that way until they decide to move out of my house. But we've just established that at 8 o'clock every night, we sit down, we read stories, and that has been a religious thing every single night of the week. And even on the road, like we do a story. If it's 8 o'clock, unless they're out watching the show, we will do a story every night at 8 o'clock. They recognize in their brain, like, oh, this means I'm about to have to go lay down. So it's story, brush teeth, use the bathroom, pajamas on, and climb in bed. And I've got one that I still have to lay down with for, a few minutes or maybe let him fall asleep. But so long as we stick to that routine, like we've never had a fighting issue over it.
Nick, to sum it up, he's a good parent.
So what are you saying?
What are you implying?
Yeah. What?
You lack discipline.
Hey, Nick.
You lack discipline.
Nick, I'm going to turn around right now. I'll be there in an hour and a half.
Right, mister, really? You're going to pile it on me. Do I need to bring back the first episode you were on and how you bashed our friend Nick here? Do I? Come on, man.
Sure. I'm going to make it up to Nick in Vegas. He's going to go put.
I wasn't talking about Nick. Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
That Jesse's
Danielle, I love you.
Also, so.
All right.
There's that.
Oh, gosh. I hate you guys so much, but I love you too. It's very conflicting for me. Brandon Davis, if you were to impart any bit of wisdom on any new dad or soon to be new dad, what is it going to be? Advice.
Just know that you can never actually be prepared because it's going to be different for everybody and your experience is your own. The best thing you can do is make the best of it.
There you go. Simple, concise, good answer. All right, gentlemen, you got anything else?
You should ask him the big question that you always ask.
You want me to ask him that question?
I think he's going to have a good answer.
You think?
I'm pretty sure. I'm 95% sure he's going to have a top 5.
You do understand that we are now raising the stakes and putting all the pressure on Brandon Davis right now because he has no idea what question's coming, and now he's like, "What's happening?"
He seems like a pretty solid dude.
He's like, "I have no idea what's going on," and you just said you feel like he's going to be in the top 5 of answers of said question of all time. That's a lot of pressure, man.
I know. All right, I'm with Nick. You got to ask it.
Okay,
I feel like it.
Okay, this will be the final question. Let me preface the question, Brandon, that this is a question I asked of almost every guest I had on my radio show over the past 20 years. After you answer the question, I will let you know who was the man who answered it the most profound I've ever heard. It's a basic question. You wouldn't think there's anything to it, but over the course of 20 years, there's only been about 4 or 5 guys who've answered it in a way that basically blows up my skirt. And it's like, wow. Okay, no pressure.
Who's setting them up now for the top 5?
So yeah, no. With that preface, now you're probably gonna think about a little extras. I'm giving you a little. So here it is. What's one thing you can't leave the house without?
My hat.
Not top 5, not top 10, probably not even top 20. Still a great answer. Don't get me wrong. And that's the thing. That's what most people answer. My phone, my hat, my keys, and that's perfectly okay. Are you ready to go, oh my God, really? Because that's the reaction I get when I tell the second part of the story. And your wife, I apologize up front. If you ever do watch this episode. I was on the phone with Mr. George Thorogood one day, and I asked him that question. And without skipping a beat, George, what's one thing you can't leave the house without? He says, kissing my wife. And that is the most profound and best answer to that question I have ever heard from anyone I've ever asked. Last week I asked it. Mr. Mike Merrill said, intentions. And I went, oh, that's really good. That's a top 10 answer. But see what I mean? After you hear that back, it's like, God dang it. Gosh darn it.
Now I just got to make sure my wife don't watch it.
That's what I was saying. Thanks for playing along and being a good sport, man. That is amazing. To everyone watching worldwide, wherever you may be and however you may be listening or watching, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Dadcast. If you're on the social medias, do all the things like subscribe, comment, yada, yada, yada. Push the buttons, do the thing. If you hated it, that's fine. Cool. Comment. Let us know you hated it. But I doubt that's going to happen. You can hate us, but you can't hate Brandon Davis. I mean, this is a shining example of what a dad should be. And to everyone watching, man, I mean, Thank you. We appreciate you. Brandon Davis, thank you for taking the time and coming on the show and showing us what it is to be a dad. In my opinion, from what I've heard from you and the stories you have shared, you are one of the good ones, man. Definitely. You may not have that top 5 answer to the question, but you're definitely one of the top 5 dads I've ever spoke to, man, and I applaud you.
Yeah, 100%.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank y'all for having me on.
Absolutely. And to everyone else, we'll catch you on the very next episode. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.